What if I told you that behind the bright smiles and glamour of Hollywood's golden age, there were women who could destroy men's lives with just a look? These weren't just pretty faces, they were real predators, whose cunning and charm became legendary. This is the story of how, in the 1940s and 1950s, a new type of heroine emerged in Hollywood, the femme fatale, the deadly beauty who didn't just drive men crazy but led them to their doom. Are you ready to find out who these women were and how they changed cinema forever? Let's dive into the dark and mysterious world of film noir. First, let's clarify. When we talk about a look back or rear view, we're talking about a retrospective. We're going back to Hollywood's past, to its golden age, which took place in the 1940s and 1950s. This was a time when dark, crime-filled dramas became hugely popular. These films are often called by the French word noir, which means black. It was in this shadowy genre that a new type of character appeared, the femme fatale, which we sometimes inaccurately translate as deadly beauty. But it wasn't just about looks. What made these women dangerous was their cunning. They were the kind of women who could destroy anyone who crossed their path. Think of them as praying mantises. They wouldn't just devour their husbands, but also their friends, rivals, and pretty much anyone else. Barbara Stanwyck, the queen of manipulation. The perfect example of a femme fatale was created in 1944 by the brilliant actress Barbara Stanwyck in the classic noir Double Indemnity. Her character, Phyllis Dietrichson, wasn't just beautiful, she was cold, calculating, and willing to kill for her own gain. Stanwyck had played manipulative women before, but this role cemented her as the ultimate femme fatale. Ironically, Stanwyck always wanted to play serious, dramatic, and even somewhat positive roles, but Hollywood saw her differently. She became so associated with this type of character that even in later roles, audiences still saw her as the deadly beauty. Lauren Bacall came to cinema from the modeling world. Her sharp but restrained beauty made her a perfect fit for the shadowy world of noir. She often starred alongside her husband, Humphrey Bogart, who was considered the face of noir. Bacall herself was dubbed Miss Noir. After Bogart's death, she was engaged to Frank Sinatra. She was also an unofficial leader of a creative and slightly criminal group known as the Rat Pack. Her characters were always mysterious, strong, and independent, making her one of the brightest stars of the era. For a time, the dazzling Ava Gardner was married to Frank Sinatra, an actor with deep ties to the criminal underworld. She became the ultimate femme fatale in the 1946 classic The Killers. Gardner was known for her fiery temper and often made headlines with her scandals. When Sinatra married Mia Farrow, a delicate actress with a short haircut, Gardner famously told reporters, "I always knew Frank would end up in bed with a boy." Her life was as dramatic as her roles, making her one of Hollywood's most talked-about figures. Veronica Lake is often remembered for her bad girl with a heart of gold roles. But she earned her place among the femme fatale thanks to her performance in The Glass Key, 1942, based on a crime novel by Dashiell Hammett, the literary father of noir. Her characters always walked the line between good and evil, making them irresistible to audiences. Jane Greer starred in many crime films like Dick Tracy, They Won't Believe Me, and The Big Steal. But in 1947, she delivered her most iconic performance in Out of the Past, one of the greatest noirs of all time. Her character was the perfect criminal vixen. Turn your back on her, and she wouldn't hesitate to shoot you. Don't let her delicate, almost innocent appearance fool you. Her roles were always complex and layered, making her one of the most intriguing actresses of her time. The red-headed, cheerful Rita Hayworth thought her career would always be tied to musicals and comedies. But fate had other plans. She starred in two iconic noirs, Gilda, 1946, and The Lady from Shanghai, 1947. The latter was considered a bad movie at the time, leading to her divorce and a box office flop. But today, it's regarded as a classic. Her transformation from a glamorous star to a deadly blonde showed her incredible range as an actress. Virginia Mayo started as a dancer and might have spent her life in revues if not for the demand for deadly blondes in noir. She left her mark in the genre, most notably as the girlfriend of an unstable gangster in White Heat, 1949. After that, she mostly appeared in westerns, but her brief time in noir made her unforgettable. Jean Tierney stunned audiences with her grace, which made her perfect for playing sophisticated beauties in noir. Her filmography is filled with black films like The Shanghai Gesture, Laura, The Razor's Edge, Night and the City, Where the Sidewalk Ends, and Black Widow. Her characters proved that elegance could be just as dangerous as any weapon. Lana Turner was one of Hollywood's quintessential blondes. She entered the world of noir with Johnny Eager, but it was The Postman Always Rings Twice, 1946, that made her a classic femme fatale. The film is considered one of the greatest of the era, and Turner's performance as a seductive, dangerous woman remains iconic. Joan Bennett started acting as a child in silent films and had a background in theater, but it was in cinema that she truly shined. She first appeared in noir with The Woman in the Window, but it was her role as a ruthless manipulator in Scarlet Street, 1945, that made her unforgettable. Her characters were always strong and independent, making her one of the era's brightest stars. And Savage is best remembered as the blackmailer in the 1945 film Detour. Her character's story didn't end well, but it left a lasting impression. Years later, director Oliver Stone paid homage to the film with his own work, U-Turn. Savage's performance was a reminder that some people and places are best avoided. These women didn't just play roles, they created legends. Their images still inspire directors and actresses today, and the films they starred in remain timeless classics. Noir isn't just a genre. It's an entire era where beauty and danger went hand in hand. Could you resist the charm of these deadly beauties? Their stories are not just memories of Hollywood's golden age, but also a reminder that behind a captivating smile, there might be a dangerous game.